Well, hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from in the world. I want to welcome you to this very special webinar with Bob Proctor. I'm Mikey Stiller, the Director of Marketing for the Proctor Gallagher Institute. And right off the bat, I want to congratulate you in your decision to join us today. You'll be very glad you did. You're probably here because you've seen Bob's videos on YouTube. Maybe you've been following us for a while. Perhaps you've been to some of our events and you've seen Bob and Sandy speak, or you've read one of our best-selling books. Or maybe someone sent you here that thought you would really enjoy what we're discussing today. If you want to know and understand the secret science of getting rich, then you're in the right place. Today's webinar is with none other than the Bob Proctor, and there's no one better to teach you about the mind and money in a relatively short amount of time we have together today. The information he's going to share with you has the potential to completely transform your life, and I know this from personal experience, as do many others who've worked with him. Before we bring Bob on, I want to share with you some things that others have said about him and how powerful the information he's about to share with you can be. Now, Vic Conant is the president of the Nightingale Conant Corporation, and here's what he has to say about Bob. This man has the ability to reduce the most complicated concepts in life to the simplest form. He can and does explain how to turn any idea you can think of into physical results. This man's name is Bob Proctor. And then Cynthia Kersey. She's the founder of the Unstoppable Foundation, which we at the Proctor Gallagher Institute do a lot of great work with. And she has one of the biggest hearts of anyone you'll ever meet. Here's what she has to say. I was blessed to meet Bob Proctor at the beginning of my career as an author and speaker. Because of his wisdom and guidance, I was able to make more money my first full year of speaking than I did at the top of my career at Sprint Communications. Bob's insight enabled me to jumpstart my business in a way that I would have never been able to without his help. I wholeheartedly recommend Bob Proctor to everyone who's ready to transform their existing reality. Bob has been at this for a long time, 57 years actually. For 57 years, he's been studying the mind, paradigms, and the universal laws. I don't know who has studied this single topic every day for that long, and I'd be willing to bet you don't either. He's been helping individuals and businesses all around the world to earn more money, enjoy more happiness, and develop more meaningful and fulfilling relationships. If that sounds good to you, then again, you're in the right place, and I want to encourage you for the next hour, set aside all distractions, put away your phone, close other windows on your computer or tablet, and really give Bob your undivided attention, because his focus today is to enlighten you to the secret science of getting rich. Now, without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour, Mr. Bob Proctor. Bob?
Thanks very much, Mikey. Mikey Steller, who introduced me, is one of our key people. Mikey came here a number of years ago. She just kept moving ahead, and she's the marketing director now. A very valuable part of the company. I think her value is in her attitude because it's contagious. She has a phenomenal attitude. You very rarely ever see her with anything but a good attitude. So I want to thank you, Mikey, and thank you for the nice introduction. There's a good question. What makes my secret science of getting rich training different than anybody else? Well, there's a number of things. One of the major things is the 57 years that I've been dedicated to this. I have been absolutely fascinated with this subject now my entire adult life. Started way back in 1961. And I was given this book in 1961 by a good friend, and he changed my life on October the 21st, a long time ago. And I've never stopped studying it. I became absolutely fascinated with why we do what we do and why we don't do many of the things we want to do. Now, I've got a goal here. I have a goal in this particular program on this call. I want to enlighten you to a new way of thinking about money and your relationship to money in a way that's going to help you earn more of it than you've ever dreamed of, and you're going to do it through understanding. Okay, you're going to do it with ease through understanding. See, money goes where it's invited, and it stays where it's welcome. Some people don't invite money. They keep talking about how hard it is to earn, and it's not very welcome. They curse it, and they feel bad about it, and they talk debt all the time. Money doesn't like to stay in an environment like that. Talk nice about it. Money is a servant, makes a terrible master. I wrote in Born Rich where you should love people and use money. Some people get that equation reversed, and that's in bad shape. It doesn't work. Now, if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you our Business Builder checklist. And that builder business checklist has been developed over a long time. It's very valuable. So I'm going to ask you to stay right here until the end. I've done a lot of things right over the 57 years, but keep in mind, I've done a lot of things wrong. I don't think you learn from your wins. I think you learn from your mistakes, if you're smart. And I consider myself to be reasonably smart from the studying that I've done. I don't think I was very wide awake when I started to do this, but in everything, it's been pointed out that the bad things are not really bad things. There's good things. It just is, and we've got to find the good or the bad in it. So you learn from your mistakes. Now, after doing this for over 50 years, this is one thing I've learned, that you can attract anything you want in life. You are God's highest form of creation. You have been blessed with faculties that beyond the scope of our imagination. We can attract anything. Now, attraction is the key word there. We say anything, but attraction is really the key. We talked about a lot on The Secret, but we didn't get into why. I'll get into why here, how the attraction works. See, attraction is a secondary law. It's not a primary law. Vibration is the primary law. This body that you're living in is a mass of energy. Your brain is an electronic switching station. And you alter the vibration you're in when you think, and that changes what you attract. So implementing the secret science of getting rich is easier than you might think it is. There is a science to it. There's no question about it. Now, anyone that is willing to put this to work, and become rich with the right information. Anyone can. There's no secret to this, and if you study, you're going to see that there can't be. You're going to find people who are absolutely brilliant, and they become very wealthy. You're going to find some who are absolutely brilliant, and they stay broke all their life. You're going to find people who are functionally illiterate. We'll go right to the other end. They're functionally illiterate. They can neither read nor write, yet they earn millions. And you're going to find others who are functionally illiterate who struggle through their whole life. Anyone that is willing to put in the work can become rich with the right information. There's no question about that. And I'm going to show that. Now, do you want to know the system that revolutionized my life and took me to multiple 8-figure per year? Because that's what I'm going to show you. I've got the whole thing mapped out. This is absolutely incredible. Now, there's 3 secrets here. Understanding the true principle of prosperity. That is absolutely essential. The first one is the law of compensation. Compensation is governed by a law just the same as everything else is governed by laws. You can't get away from it. The whole universe operates by law, so compensation is one of those laws. You've got to learn to think in a certain way. Play with it. All the great leaders have conditioned, they've helped us become aware that we become what we think about. That's the one point they've disagreed on. Every great thinker, every great leader that has ever lived has been in complete unanimous agreement that you and I become what we think about. They've disagreed on virtually everything else but that one point. Thinking in a certain way. I'm going to show you what that certain way is. And the last one, impression of increase. That is an absolute must. That's also a law. So if we want to make it happen, top secret. You're going to see it, you're going to hear it, I'm going to share it with you. Now, before we dive in, here's a quick question. What keeps people stuck? Month after month, year after year. Why does a person say stuck? It doesn't make sense. Here's another one. How and when does earning money become easy? You'll hear some people say it's a breeze. Nothing to it. Others struggle all their life, and they never earn very much. And number 3, what is stopping you from earning the amount of money that you really want to earn? Now, how much do you really want to earn? See, when I started, I wanted to earn $25,000. I figured if I had $25,000, I would have died and gone to heaven. I didn't even know anyone with $25,000. Now, that was in 1961. It's still a fair amount of money, but not the way it was then. On this webinar, I'm going to simplify the process of earning money to the point that anyone can understand and implement it. Anyone. I don't care. If you're old enough to think and comprehend what I'm saying, then you can do it. On this webinar, I'm going to reveal to you how to think in the certain way that'll get you the results you really want. You've got to think in a certain way if you're going to get it. You just can't keep thinking the way you've been thinking, or you're going to end up getting what you've been getting. Now, on this webinar, I'm going to give you a special trick to keep in your pocket that you can instantly turn your day, your week, or a project, your whole life around at any time. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, there's more. On this webinar, I'm going to introduce you to a concept that will change your life like night and day, like that. Now, you'd think this is magic. Listen, when you learn about your life, it is magic. I worked with magicians every now and then, and in conferences. Like if I'm speaking at a conference, they may have a magician at the conference, and periodically they get me involved in the trick. Well, when you know the trick, it's not magic anymore. When you study a magician and you know the trick, and that's the biggest problem the magician have, is understanding you don't know what he's doing or she's doing. Well, when you do understand the trick, it's not magic anymore. When you understand life, it is magic. Believe me. Let's look. Here's a good question. Who am I? Do you know that's a question very few people ever are able to answer? They're just not able to answer it. Who am I? Well, I'm going to tell you something. You are God's highest form of creation. I don't care if you believe in religion or if you believe in science. So the only two areas you got to go to. Both of them clearly indicate you've got power beyond the scope of your imagination. And we're starting to see evidence of that every day in everything that's being shown around us. So who am I? Well, let's look at it a different way. Let's look at it this way. I'm a spiritual being. What does that mean? Nobody's ever seen spirit. Well, nobody's ever seen you either. All they've ever seen is the body that you live in. You see, you're a mass of energy and you function on frequencies. That body you're living in is nothing but a mass of energy, and it functions on frequencies. If you took a photograph of your body with a Kirlian camera, you would see your body as a glistening, radiating, gleaming form. That's what you would look like. See, Simeon Kirlian, way back in 1934, perfected a form of photography where the energy coming from the person's body will penetrate a camera, penetrate the film, and you can actually photograph it. And as you change the images in your mind, the vibration in you changes, and the energy coming from you changes. See, energy flows through and to and through you. You express energy. It's flowing to and through, and you can actually photograph it, and of course we can measure it. Now, that's your physical body. You see, we live in a physical body, but we are not physical. We're far from being physical. We're spiritual beings. And we've been blessed with something else. We're triune beings. We've been blessed with an intellect. Now, let's put this in a different context. Let's look at this from a different point of view. As spiritual beings, what else is omnipresent? See, spirit, we're taught spirit's 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. Spirit's all-knowing and all-powerful. Now, we're taught that. Do we really understand it? What else is omnipresent? I'll tell you what else is. Thought is. I've worked with astronauts who were transferring thoughts from the other side of the moon. Thought is everywhere. You can think underwater. Thought is energy. In fact, thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space. Thought is the most potent form of energy there is. You can think. This is huge. Most people don't pay much attention to it, but it's very big. And because you can think, you can form ideas. That's right. An idea is a thought or a collection of thoughts directed towards a purpose. So you go from the thought to the idea. You have a thought, it could be just a thought, or it could be an idea, brought thoughts together. And those ideas then will move into form. So you see, there's the three levels. Thoughts, ideas, and things. Corresponds. Thought being spiritual, ideas being intellectual, and things being things. Well, we're going to talk about working from a higher to a lower potential here. You go from the thought to the idea, and then, of course, you go from the idea to the thing. And that's the way it works. And that's the way everything around you has happened. Everything you see around you, it started out as a thought. I don't care what it is you're looking at, it started out as a thought. And it turned into an idea and turned into a thing. Everything we do, everything, the clothes you're wearing, the jewelry, the monitor that you're watching this on, whether it's your watch, your phone, your pad, your computer, it doesn't make any difference. It was nothing but a thought at one time. So do you see, what we really want to look at is the mind, and I think we want to look at paradigms. Paradigms are interesting things. They're the stumbling block. This is the most valuable idea I've ever learned. Without question, it is the most valuable idea I've ever learned. You see, I had studied everything under the sun about the mind for years. I think Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious, is probably one of the best books on the subconscious you'll ever read. But he doesn't give you any picture. No one's ever seen the mind. Mind is not a thing. People think of the brain as the mind. The brain isn't the mind any more than a fingernail is. So as we start to really understand this, we get into a bit of a problem. If nobody's seen the mind, where is the mind? How does the mind work? Now, there was a doctor in San Antonio, Texas, back in 1934, same year Semyon Kurlian perfected his photography. This doctor in Texas realized that if there's a problem in the body, it has to originate in the mind because you're always working from a higher to a lower potential. And he said nobody's ever seen the mind, so he said, I'm going to draw a picture of the mind, and this is what he drew. This is the picture he drew. He said, let that big circle represent the mind, and the little circle we will let represent the body. Now, the body is the instrument of the mind. But he said the mind, it could be very complicated. We're going to keep it very simple. You know, it was reported John Kennedy had his speeches prepared, the President John Kennedy had his speeches prepared so a 10-year-old would understand them. Well, this is done so a 10-year-old would understand it. And if you doubt me, get a 10-year-old and let them see it. They will understand it. In fact, they may pick it up faster than the parent. Now, the line that separates the mind is the conscious mind and the subconscious. The subconscious and the conscious mind. They operate quite differently. Conscious mind has the ability to accept or reject. Subconscious does not have that ability. It has to accept. It'll accept whatever you give to it. It's totally deductive. It can only accept. It's amoral. It doesn't care what you plant, but it'll return what you plant. Now, let's see how this works, okay? Let's take a look at it. See those little antennae come up there? There they are. You can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And they are like little antennae. And they're hooked up as long as we live in the physical body and correspond with the material world, we're going to use those senses. Now you can say, what's this got to do with richness? What's this got to do with money? It has everything to do with it. See, problem is people don't get into the raw cause of things. As you start to understand the cause, the effect becomes pretty obvious, okay? Now, the conscious mind is also the intellectual mind, and this is what separates us from all of the rest of the animal kingdom. Think of this for a moment. All the other little creatures on the planet are completely at home in their environment. They blend in. You and I are totally disoriented in our environment, and that is because we can create our own environment. How do we do it? With our intellect. We have all these intellectual factors. Perception, the will, memory, imagination, reason, intuition. We hear these words, but do we really understand that they are powers that separate us from all the rest of the animal kingdom? I don't think so. I don't think most people get it. What we've got to do is learn how to utilize these to a phenomenal degree. I've got a very high intuitive factor. If I walk by you, I can tell you all kinds of things about yourself. Your intuitive factor is what picks up vibration. In seminars, if you see me in seminars, I tell people what they're like all the time in a seminar. It's not difficult to read. The imagination, everything you see around you, wherever you are, first it was just an idea in somebody's imagination. So as we think about these things, it starts to really make a difference. You take a look at the will. Now the will is what, it's very important. The will gives us the ability to focus. If you're going to be successful then, you've got to learn to focus. You can't be distracted by everything that's going on outside. So it's important we learn how to use those. It's so important. Albert Einstein said, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. That's what I was talking about. And he said the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. We are locked into the senses. We never pay any attention to these higher faculties. It's like they don't even exist. Why? Why do we live like that? Well, let's take a look. There's the intellect. Subconscious is the emotional mind. Okay? So what do? Well, let's think about what we do. Our intellect stirs the emotion, and the body is the instrument to express it. Let's see how it works. We go from the thought to the idea to the thing. We go from the upside down and inside out. Now, I want you to burn that little logo into your mind. That is the Proctor Gallagher Institute Universal Wealth Strategy. Upside down, inside out. Sounds crazy. Usually when you say everything's upside down, we say it's in a chaotic state. Truth is, it's in an orderly state. If you work from the upside down, you're never going to make another mistake in the inside out. Let's look and see how it works. Upside down, inside out. Okay? So what do? We think and we build an idea in our conscious mind. We literally originate an idea. It's a beautiful idea, and we say, I'd love that to happen. So we impress it upon our subconscious, and we impress it so often that it becomes a dream. That's what I want. Now, by impressing that, it has to be expressed through the body. It changes the vibration of the body. That changes the action, which produces a result. Inside out. See? Upside down, inside out. Burn that into your mind. It's a beautiful idea. Now, there's many ways of looking at this. There's your senses again. When we think, we build pictures in our consciousness. The problem is, most of us let the outside world control what we're thinking. And this is not thinking at all. This is mental activity, but that does not constitute thinking. We look at our bank account and we see there's nothing there. And we let that fill our mind. We, look at the work we're doing and we see it's not working out right. We let the outside control us. We're living through our senses. Now, it's only natural that we would. We've been programmed and trained to do that. Why do we do it? It doesn't make sense. You see, that person is not using higher faculties. All those beautiful faculties we got, they're not using them. And you have to ask why. They're letting things control their mind. They're letting the present results dominate their thinking. Now, there's a reason for doing that. They're programmed. They are emotionally involved with the present results. That is not an accident. That has been programmed. They let the results control the thinking controls the emotion controls the action, and the action produces a result, living through senses. You see, the paradigm is controlling the thinking. Now, the paradigm is a program. It's been built into our mind from the moment of conception. All the programming is there. We'll go in and we'll look at that in a moment. But the paradigm literally controls it. That's why people are stuck. I'm going to show you where they have all kinds of knowledge, but the paradigm is in control of them. And people are saying, what the heck is happening? They're giving it everything they've got. Where did this all start? It doesn't seem to matter how hard I work. Why don't I know about this? Well, how do I fix it? Understand this. The paradigm was built by someone else. It was built by someone else. But you've got to change it. Someone else may be responsible for making us who we are, but we've got to change it. Can we change it? Absolutely. Let's take a look at what a paradigm is. A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. That's an interesting point. You get out of bed in the morning, there's a pattern. If you have a sales force working for you, you can predict where the sales are going to be with that person 6-9 months from now. We can predict what they're going to do by looking at what they've done. You say, well, that's a poor way to measure it. No, that's a poor way to set goals, but it's a good way to predict where people are going, because most people let the paradigm control them. It isn't their thinking. It isn't what they know. They know how to do better. They don't do that. Paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and almost all of our behavior is habitual. Where does it start? Right there. Now think of this for a moment. Where does the paradigm start? Where did baby start? There's a good question. Particle of energy from mom, particle of energy from dad came swimming along like that. They were in resonance. They harmonized. They formed the nucleus of you. That's where you came from. Where did mom and dad come from? Well, you got to go back to their mother and dad on both sides. Her mother, her dad, his mother, his dad, and started there. But you have to go back, where did that come from? Their parents on both sides. So you go back, we're the confluence of a genetic pool that goes back quite a way. Then, after the moment of conception, 280 days later, the baby makes its debut. Now, if that baby were taken out of a home in New York City, English speaking, and put in a home in Shanghai, and all they heard was Chinese, that baby would grow up fluent in Chinese. Know nothing about the English language. If that baby was born in Kinabalu, that baby may grow up Bahasa Malaysian and know nothing about the English language. If the baby was born in India, it would grow up speaking some language there, or maybe in Iran, it would speak Sufi. It's always a different language wherever they are. Now, I had an associate in Kuala Lumpur, had a little boy, 4 years old, could speak 4 languages. They really didn't think anything of it. See, the baby's mind is wide open to everything that's going on. That baby becomes a product of its environment plus its genetic code. Remember we said about the subconscious that had no ability to reject? Well, that's how the baby arrives. Just the subconscious is wide open. No conscious faculties developed, no conscious mind developed, and whatever's going on around that baby is dumped right into that baby's mind. You might wonder why you're doing many of the things you're doing. Well, that's where it starts. See that there? That could be considered your self-image. The image you hold of you was really developed when you were just a little tiny baby. You see people that wander around with an inferiority complex, that's where they got it. They didn't originate it. They don't like them like that. You'll see somebody else that's very gregarious, very confident. That's where they got it. That's right. Now, this self-image is one idea. There's a multitude of ideas, and you put them all together, and that's what we call a paradigm. And when the paradigm is pretty well established, the baby begins to think. The conscious faculties begin to develop. That's right. And everything starts to change. And that baby's conscious mind starts to pick up information from the outside world again, always through the senses. It gathers all this information, and then it gets to a point where they go to school. Now, when they get to school, the paradigm is continued. They have a way of teaching us. They get us to look at the report card to tell us what kind of student we are. We're letting the outside control the inside. The only thing a report card will do is tell you where your mind was at for a few minutes or an hour maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's got nothing to do with your potential. It's got nothing to do with where you can go. But I'm going to tell you, in my world, the report card told me what kind of a person I was, what kind of a student I was. It's not just report cards, it's bank balances, it's sales sheets. We go on. The report card turns into other things. It turns into balance sheets. It turns into all kinds of different things. Anything outside that measures our performance. So we let the outside control the thinking controls the emotion causes the action, and we move into action on it. But then we go to school. Now pay attention to this. This is very, very good. School taught us valuable knowledge. However, school never taught us how to alter a paradigm. It never did. Therefore, we frequently know how to do all kinds of things, but we don't do them. It's not that we don't know how. We do know how. We have superior knowledge, but we have inferior results. Why? That causes a lot of confusion and frustration. Well, let's analyze why. Let's go back to our little model of the mind and the body again. See, there's where school plants all the information in the conscious mind. They're interested in you reading the book, remembering what's in the book, and being able to repeat it. And they say that's learning. That is not learning. That's gathering information. That is not learning. Learning is when you consciously entertain an idea, you get emotionally involved in the idea, you step out and act on the idea, and you change the end result. It's the feedback and the change in result that's the learning experience. Listen carefully to this, because here's a person with a lot of knowledge, but it doesn't translate into results. They're brilliant. They may have a master's or a doctorate in economics and be broke. How could that happen? When someone else they know never went to school, just played around, and they're out earning millions. How come? Well, it isn't the knowledge we have that controls the results. It's the paradigm that produces the result. That's right. And if you're going to change the result, there's only one way to change it. You got to change the paradigm. That's just what happens. So if you really want to get into the science of getting rich, you've really got to understand what we're teaching. You've got to understand what I'm talking about here. And I'm going to guarantee you, when you start to understand it, boom, 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 it changes so fast it'll make your head spin. All your relatives will wonder, what did you do? What are you doing? Because the change is dramatic. You get into the law of compensation. That's why Hill said when riches begin to come, they come so quickly, in such great abundance, that you're going to wonder where it was hiding through all those lean years. And it's always from the upside down, the inside out. You've got to go in the opposite direction to the masses. Look at this. We go back to the law of compensation. It's law of compensation, the law. Now we know the law of growth. Here's a little boy. He's obviously taught by his mother or dad how things grow. And he's been encouraged to plant something, and then if he looks after it, he's going to see the little seed will grow into something, and he's told that it has to happen, and it happens every time if we just properly look after the ground that is planted in. Okay? That's a law. We know the plant will grow. Now there's a little girl. That little girl grows by the same law the little boy grows by. In fact, the little girl's playing in the water. That water will go out and it'll come back in. That tide, it never just goes out and stays out. It goes out, it comes back. That's an absolute law. The sand that the little girl's standing on could be taken and turned into glass because the sand is energy. We call it sand because of the vibration that it's in. But we could take and alter the molecular structure and turn it into glass. Well, do you know that you and I have faculties in our mind that can take air, can take pure unadulterated energy and turn it into whatever we want? We have this phenomenal ability, and it seems only a handful of people really understand it. Law of compensation. It's such a beautiful thing to learn. When I learned it, I literally fell in love with it. It made such a difference. The law of compensation clearly states that the amount of money you earn will always be in exact ratio to these three things. Number one, the need for what you do. There's got to be a need for what you do, and there probably is a need. There's probably a tremendous need for what you do. And you didn't even create it, it's there. I know there's a phenomenal need for what I do. Everywhere I go, people want to learn how can they change their results. Number two, your ability to do it. Do what? Do whatever you do. Your ability to do it. How good are you at it? As you get better at it, you're going to take care of number three. Number three, the difficulty there would be in replacing you. Now think, the law of compensation is clear. The amount of money you earn is going to be in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. I have become very good at teaching this. Not by accident, and not because I want to earn a lot of money at it, because I fell in love with it. I am obsessed with this idea. I used to think of obsession as a bad word. It's not. An obsession is a persistent, disturbing preoccupation with an often unreasonable idea. It's unreasonable that anyone can develop wealth. Anyone can change anything. That's unreasonable. But I'm going to tell you something. It's the real deal. And if you really pay attention here, I hope you put all the things aside that would disturb you and pay attention. Watch this often. Don't watch it once, watch it often. Now look at, there's only one point there that you have to focus on. Focus your ability on your ability to do it. All of your conscious attention is on your ability to do it. Put all your attention there. Become a master at whatever you do. Just keep getting better at it. I work at it every day. I've been at it 57 years, but I work at it every day. There isn't a day goes by that I don't attempt to get better at what I'm doing. That's how they become the great golfers, the great basketball players, the great business people, the great orators. They work at it every day because they're working with an infinite power that's always for expansion and fuller expression. And they also understand something you want to really burn into your mind. Everything changes. Nothing rests. If we're not creating, we're disintegrating. If we're not going ahead, we're going backwards. And if we're not really giving energy to going ahead, we will start to go backwards. It's that simple. All of your abilities should be focused on the second step there. Now here's 3 income earning strategies most people, they never really learn. Earl Nightingale put this very well. He said most people want more money than they think they do, and they settle for a whole lot less than they could get. These 3 strategies, you've got to teach your children these because it's so important. I call it M1, M2, and M3. Now, M1 is a good strategy, but not for me. It may be for you. Almost everybody uses it, so I shouldn't say it's a good one, it's a bad one. 96% of the population are on the wrong track. They follow this, and for good reason. It has an inherent problem in it. It's called saturation. These people are trading their time for money. They run out of time. I don't care how much they charge an hour, they run out of time. They got to take time to eat and they've got to take time to sleep. Now some people, that's all they do is work, eat, and sleep because they've got to earn more money and they're running out of time. And they spend all the time they've got. Not a good strategy. They earn 1% at the top and at the bottom, not much. M2 is an excellent strategy, but it's only used by 3 people out of 100. Why? For a very good reason. You've got to have money to invest money. This is where you invest money. Money, invest money. You put money to work for you. And money is a good servant. It'll work for you and it'll earn you money. Now up here, number 3, I stumbled on this way back in the 60s. It took me a long time to figure out what I was doing because I didn't know this money. I was doing the right thing, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was what you call an unconscious competent. I have come to the conclusion, after studying this for many, many years, that most people that are doing really well cannot articulate why they are. Therefore, it's non-transferable. They don't even know how to teach it to their kids. This is what you're getting, okay? I didn't know, and this is what I learned. That 1% earn almost all the money, and they do it for good reason. They multiply their time by setting up multiple sources of income. That's right. They don't have one source. They have sources of income all over the place. And since that's the way it works, that's what you can do. Get rid of that one and go for the top. Now think of this, our world is changing. You don't have to settle for anything anymore. Our world is not getting bigger, our world is getting smaller. You're not a long ways away from anywhere. You're only hours away from anywhere now, just hours. I think nothing of flying over to Israel or Europe or the East. I think nothing of it because it's so common. I've been doing it for years. You see, the beautiful truth is you can turn your annual income into a monthly income. You really can. And you know how to do it? You set up multiple sources of income. That's right. This can be accomplished by having multiple sources. Not one, not two, many. Wealthy people have always had multiple sources. You go right back to the ancient Babylonians. Now look at this for a moment. Upside down. It starts in our thinking. And we can set up sources of income in other countries, in other places. And I'm going to show you that this can be done. We can show you how to do it. We can help you do it. It's a great idea. And you just keep adding sources of income. There is no end to this. Absolutely no end to it. You can have them all over the world. You can make connections all over the world. Because when you are involved in anything we have, you're introduced to people all over the world because we work with them. And we help them share what they've got with you, and we help you share what you've got with them. You don't have to look for strategic partners or joint ventures. We'll show you how that happens. We actually show it. Now, you might be asking, do all these sources of income, are they all the same size? No, the truth is they're not. Some will grow, some will not. It's what you give attention to. And as you give attention to them, that doesn't mean you have to work, but you give energy to them. Some will get bigger and some will get smaller, but they all have one thing in common. They all flow into your bank. That's kind of a nice thing. Now let's think here for a moment. Contrary to popular belief, very few people think. Mental activity does not constitute thinking. I think I've already mentioned that to begin earning substantial amounts of money, you must begin thinking, and you must begin thinking in a certain way. It's absolutely essential. You can't think the way you have been thinking and keep getting what you're getting. Now, that logo there, upside down, inside out, burn it into your mind. You've got to work from the thought to the thing, and then from the inside out. You do not let the outside control the start of your thinking. If you let your bank account control it, you're thinking lack and limitation. You've got to think from prosperity. You've got to think from abundance. There's an abundance of thought energy. That's where you start. Build the picture of what you want. You know, Van Gogh was asked one time how he did such beautiful work. He said, I dream my painting, and then I paint my dream. That's what you want to do. See, it starts there in the thought, a spiritual concept. Turns into an idea as an intellectual concept, and then turns into a thing. Now, you and I have the ability to do that. Don't let the results control your thinking. Create the results that you want. Now, how do we do that? Well, let's take another look at this. There's the emotional mind, the thinking mind, the emotional mind, and the body is the instrument. So as we start to understand this, it makes such a phenomenal difference. There's thought energy just flowing into your consciousness. Now, I use this as a graphic illustration, and these little thoughts, little puffy clouds as thoughts. They're flowing into our conscious mind, and we can make anything out of them we want. We can pluck the thoughts we want. Pick the thoughts that build the idea that you want. You don't have to think of what you don't want. Spend time thinking of what you do want. Then you take and you plant that in your mind. You get emotionally involved in the idea. You get emotionally involved with this, you're going to alter the vibration that the body's in. It's going to cause you to act different, and it's going to produce the results you want. Now, that is the key. That is the program, and that is upside down and inside out. Keep that logo in your mind. It's very important. Upside down, inside out. You start with the thought. Don't let the physical result control. You're non-physical. You live in a physical body. The body's the instrument of the mind. So you go from the thought to the thing, upside down. And then you go from inside out. See, it's the action that sets up the reaction. Now, the reaction coming back, that's actually the law of attraction. The action is the vibration of the body being expressed, and the reaction is the same, equal and opposite. So there you are, upside down, inside out. It's so obvious. The cause of your good fortune, awareness. You become aware of this, and that's where your good fortune comes from. Now, here's where the loser is. The loser lets present results come in through the thinking. Their paradigm is in charge of the thoughts they do have. Now, most of them don't think, but if they do, that's what they're thinking. They're letting the results control them. They're living through their senses. Now, Lord knows we've been trained to do that since we were infants. So is it surprise? Not a surprise at all. Now you understand why people that are brilliant, they've got all this knowledge, but the paradigm, it's whipping them. We run programs on changing paradigms. It's so important. That's what this program is all about, changing paradigms. So let's look here for a moment. Here you've got all these higher faculties, beautiful concepts, and we don't use them. It's too bad. We live through these, through our senses, and that is not the good way to live. That causes present results. So the thinking, the present results, we see it. That causes us to think about the present result. And we are fighting. We're trying desperately. We are trying desperately to change the result. I'm trying. I'm giving it everything I've got. Salesperson in with a sales manager. I'm giving it everything I've got. I'm making all kinds of calls. Present results controlling the thinking. The thinking is controlling, feeding the paradigm actually, which sets up the vibration, and they create more of the same. It's a losing trip. The person just cannot win. It doesn't make any sense. Why would they do it? They do it because they don't understand what they're doing. Forgive them. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're doing. This is the cause of the dilemma. Ignorance, not knowing. I guarantee you, you keep studying this, you will become so aware. Look it. I'll be 84 very soon. 2 months high school. No business experience trying to get into this. I earned millions of dollars. You know, I took a pen and I said, I'm going to build a company that operates all over the world. It does. It operates all over the world. How did I do it? I do it through understanding this. I built the idea, and the idea did it for me. And you can do it. There's anything you can do. You can do anything you want. You've got to get emotionally involved, though, with what you want. You've got to see your body as an instrument of your mind, and it'll do marvelous things for you. Let the ideas flow in. You see what you want, and then you fill your heart with it. Plant it in your heart, and you act on that idea, and you're going to get the results you want every time. There's a beautiful way to live. You go from the thought to the thing. Just think of what I'm telling you. And as I start to explain this, and we tie it into riches, not just money, but I'm talking about riches in how you feel, riches in relationships, in every aspect of your life. It just keeps getting better and better and better. You're going from the upside down and from the inside out. It's the cause of all good fortune, awareness. What do we say the cause of all dilemma? Ignorance. You know, a lot of people think education is expensive. I'm going to tell you what's really expensive. Ignorance. It costs you everything. Now we talk about the impression of increase. This is so important. You can convey the impression of increase by holding the unshakable faith that you are in the way of increase, and by letting this faith inspire, fill, and permeate every action. You leave everybody with the impression of increase. There's something about you that people are attracted to. You leave them feeling so good. You see, increase in all areas of life is governed by an absolute law. Ralph Waldo Emerson referred to this as the law of laws. This lesson alone will expand your life in a most magnificent manner as you learn how to leave everyone that you encounter with the impression of increase. It's a beautiful idea, and people will be attracted to you because of how you make them feel. We earn a lot of money in our company, and so we give a lot of money away. The woman there on the right in the green sweater is Sandy Gallagher. She is the chief executive officer of our company. The woman on the left, she heads up our consulting division. She now is my daughter-in-law. These two women are over in Africa with Cynthia Kersey. She is the lady at the bottom on the left, you see, with the black suit and the sort of green scarf around her neck. She started the Unstoppable Foundation, where we educate children in Africa. Our company builds a new school in Africa every week and a half. Our goal is to build one every day. These don't just get school, they don't just get education, they get clean water, nutritious food, proper medical care, proper place to sleep. These kids are up at 5 in the morning excited because they can go to school, because they can learn. We have them now, they started out very early, at a very early age. We are now graduating them into college, and we have colleges that we're building there. This is where we put a lot of money. You see, I think you eliminate ignorance and you've really done something for people. Money is an instrument to be used. It's not something to be hoarded. It's not something to be loved. It's something to be used. We ought to have a healthy respect for it. Money extends the good you do far beyond your own presence. So let's think. Here's the thinking mind, the emotional mind, and the body. That's the instrument, okay? Now, what's going on here? Here we have these ideas flowing into our consciousness. So we take the idea and we really play with it mentally. And we shape it and we hone it. That's where we build a vision. We build a vision in the consciousness. And then we're expressing those thoughts. We're sending those thoughts out. Now, this is the start of attitude. See, the thoughts that you think you send out, you can feel the thoughts. You can measure them. And then we turn them over to the subconscious and we send it out, and that's a form of vibration or feeling. Now, if you're picking up good energy from a person, you're feeling it. And that energy then is expressed in action. So you've got the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions are all being expressed. The thought down to the thing. And that is how a person starts winning. They're working from upside down and then inside out. Now you see, the important thing here is the thoughts we choose. You can choose any thought you want. You can put positive ones or negative ones. Cause of all good fortune is awareness. Now the more you burn this into your mind, the more you understand it, and you want to get this to be your new paradigm. Now let's take a look at here. Here's two people. There's one, that's the intellectual mind. We said the conscious is the intellectual, and that's the part you think with, okay? The subconscious is the heart, not the pump in our chest. That's the heart Solomon referred to when he says, as a person thinketh in their heart, so are they. Now be certain that your paradigm is not controlling you while you're communicating with others, okay? Especially loved ones or people that you may have working in your company. Here we are here, always leave the other person with the impression of increase. How do we do that? Well, we communicate our intellectual mind with theirs, and we do it through three ways: words, gestures, and writing. What do we want to talk to them about? Well, I think what we want to talk to them about and get them thinking about is what they want. We want to get them thinking of what they want, and then we want to get them to plant in their heart the image of what they want, and we can help them win. Now, we want to make very sure that they have a paradigm, and their paradigm is trying to stop them from getting what they want. We also have a paradigm, and we want to make certain that the vibration that we're sending to them, heart to heart, we want to make certain that it's not our paradigm that we're expressing. We're saying here, I believe you can do this, but down here, we may be saying, you're never going to do it. We don't want that to happen. We want to make certain that we say, I can see you doing this. Now, there's a beautiful poem. It says, if I knew you and if you knew me, and if both of us could clearly see with an inner sight divine the meaning of your heart and mind, I'm sure we'd differ less. I bet we'd clasp our hands in friendliness, and we'd certainly agree if I knew you and if you knew me. So our problem is we don't know each other. As we get to know each other, it starts to happen. And then our thoughts, our feelings, and actions towards everybody are upbeat. We leave them with the impression of increase. Now, on this seminar, I revealed the real secret behind thinking in a certain way. All thinking is not created equally. It isn't. It isn't. There's just no way about it. Everybody's an independent. On this seminar, I showed you how to expand your reach and multiply your results through the impression of increase. Okay? On this seminar, I taught you something about money. It's an instrument that enables you to extend the good you do far beyond your own physical presence. I was texting with my brother the other day, who lives on the other side of the North American continent, and we were talking about this. We were talking about our mother. We were so grateful that she was a generous person and taught us to be the same. And we were saying how it's so unfortunate people don't understand this. The real joy is in the giving. It's not in the receiving. You take such joy out of helping people. And it's an instrument. That's really what it is. I think you'd agree that having an understanding of how to think has the potential of everything. How to think. It's most people never really learn that. And it's so important because you're taking power that flows to you and you're using it to change the world. That identifying, I think you'd agree that identifying and changing your non-productive paradigms is something that your success depends on. There's just absolutely no question about it. See, the paradigm explains why people are stuck. Their paradigm explains why brilliant people keep getting the same unwanted results year after year. You see? Wouldn't you agree that recognizing how you can incorporate the impression of increase into every interaction that you have would be huge in your life? You know, I don't include it in every interaction, but I'm getting much better at it. I do it a lot more than I used to, and my life is so much richer because of it. Yours will be too. I think you'd agree that having an understanding of how money is earned will improve virtually every area of your life. There's hardly an area of your life that money doesn't have some impact on. Some people say money's not important. That's ridiculous. Money's vitally important in the area that it's used. And you should have all you want to live the way you choose. I think you'd agree that integrating this information into your life on a consistent basis will help you generate confidence. It'll create clarity and unlock your true potential. That's really what it does. It's so good. Wouldn't you agree it's been time well spent the last 45, 50 minutes? I think you would. You see, I know how valuable this information is. And I know when you start thinking about it, it makes you feel good. Your time has been well spent. That you already feel confidence growing, and you will. See, confidence comes from knowledge, and the more you understand this, the more confident you become. The more connected you are to the higher side of your own personality. Here's a special offer. What we have for you is a special offer so you can get everything you need to know to start getting rich. And if you act fast, we're going to give you a very special deal. Question. When presented with a better and an easier way, do you keep doing what you're doing, or do you change and go for the new approach? I can tell you, without a word of a lie, I never changed anything for years. I would be presented with a better way, and I never changed it. I don't know why. I probably thought I couldn't, or then I thought, well, it doesn't matter. Whatever the reason, I never changed. When I get a new idea today, I'm going to tell you, bang, I act on it right away. I don't care what it costs in time or money, I'm going to make it happen. And that is a rule I recommend you follow. You see, our habits have to go. The paradigm will try and keep you stuck and shackled to your current circumstances. In order to make significant changes and progress, you have to make a committed decision followed by action. And the reward will be living the life that you previously only dreamed about. This is so powerful. You can do this. I have absolute confidence that you could take everything we've covered here today and on your own go out and put it into action and get results that you previously thought were impossible. But I'm certain that just with the information we've covered on this webinar today, left to your own and on your own with your own resources, time and effort, you can set and reach some very interesting goals. And if you were, that was the only option that you had, it would be a worthy ideal to pursue. However, what if there were another option? An option that allowed us to go at this together. A chance to go deeper than you ever can in one short hour or one fast-moving webinar, connecting together just this one time. What if we were to work together on this? What if I played an active role in your results? If I was to play an active role in your results, took responsibility for your success, and had an obligation to your outcome, how would that make things different? Do you think that in that situation, I could empower you with and all the resources at my disposal to stack the deck in your favor, to make success all but inevitable? I think you know I could. If I had shortcuts and support systems and additional insights that go even deeper and more thorough, getting into the results that you want, desire, and deserve. And you know I have. After 57 years, I've got a pretty good record. I get a pretty good reputation all over the world for this kind of work. So you know that I know shortcuts. You know that I have support systems. I know people all over the world, millions of people that we've dealt with. You would have the opportunity to be working with some of those people. If I had such an option for you, would you love to hear more about it and what it could do for you? That's why It's with great pleasure that I introduce you to the Secret Science of Getting Rich program. The Secret Science of Getting Rich program, where you learn how money is earned and where you learn how money is enjoyed. It's such a phenomenal opportunity. The Secret Science of Getting Rich, where you learn how money is earned and enjoyed. The best and most powerful program for understanding and applying the science of prosperity, so you can create massive results while enjoying freedom. See, most people are not free. They're controlled by their paradigm, they're controlled by their results, they're controlled by conditions and circumstance. They're being controlled by people they don't even like. Why do they live that way? They don't know. I know, and now you know, and they don't have to. Now, what are you going to get if you do this? Well, you're going to get the Science of Getting Rich course, the whole thing. It's got a value of thousands of dollars, 10,000 to be a matter of fact. You're going to get 6 minutes to success. Every morning, I'm going to send you a video. Every morning, you're going to wake up to a video from me. It's going to have a good idea, and we're going to recommend that you take that idea and play with it for a while, and then use it through the day. Every morning. That's what 6 minutes is. You're going to be a member of a streaming club, where you'll have access to all kinds of information on a regular basis. See? The value on that was $1,200. You're going to have the success puzzle. Earl Nightingale said success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. I studied that for years. He set that in 1951. He died in 1989, never changed a word. I got it in 1961. I'm still going. I've never changed a word. It's the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That takes the puzzle out of success. I have taken that and I've broken it down into 6 lessons. They're mind-boggling. A $200 value, you're getting that. You're getting a digital workbook. It's a phenomenal workbook, over 200 pages. Everything I'm talking about, it's all in print. You can go back and you can reference it. It's a great resource for you. That's $500. And then you're going to get the 12 principles for winning the mind game. 12 different phenomenal lessons. All that. Total value, $12,374. Add it up. Now, who does this work for? It works for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are always trying to be better. Maybe you're a new entrepreneur. We'll teach you how to be an entrepreneur. It works in sales. It works in online sales. It works retail sales, car sales, any kind of sales. It works in education systems. It works for the educated, for the uneducated. See, anyone with a desire to learn the secret science of getting rich is going to benefit from this. You see, it doesn't matter what level you're at. We have many millionaires, multimillionaires that come to our program. They fall in love with it because it doesn't matter where you are. As a spiritual being, spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. There's something in you wants to grow. If you run, you want to run faster. If you jump, you want to jump higher. If you're building your business, you want to make it bigger. There's something in us. I believe it's the spiritual essence of who we are. I believe our spiritual DNA is perfect, and that perfection seeks expression through us. It's our uniqueness wanting to be expressed. This works for everyone. Now, we had 2 choices. Our first option was price this as expensive as possible and try to sell as many as possible, and it wouldn't incentivize us to really stack the value and spend quality time with you. The second option was require a little higher investment, but in exchange, we can devote more resources, including our time, and guarantee the success. Now listen to what Bruce Priotta had to say. Bruce Priotta has become a friend of mine. He said, when I first met Bob Proctor, I was in a state of loss. Tragedy had struck my family. My business was failing and I was not a happy guy. I had to do something or I would lose everything I had remaining. It was going to be gone. Bob Proctor taught me more in a few months than I had learned my entire life. He taught me how to use my mind to control and steer the direction of my life. I'll be using Bob's teachings for the rest of my life, and I'm extremely excited to live my life each day as if it keeps getting better. If you are at all interested in making your dream come true and living the life of your dreams, study with Bob and take it all in. You'll not regret it. It'll be the best thing you could do for yourself and your loved ones. I like reading that because Bruce has been an incredible success. He lost his brother and his nephew in a car accident. His brother was his business partner. And everything started to go downhill. I met him a year or so later. He was not in good shape. And Bruce and I talked. We talked a lot. And I told Bruce, I said, Bruce, your brother's not gone. He's left his body. Birth and death are parts of the same great adventure. They're both transitions. Your brother's spirit. He was always spirit. He's just left the body. Talk to him if you want. I helped Bruce feel better about the whole situation. And he started to feel better about himself. And Bruce has built a multi-million-dollar program. He owns all kinds of buildings and different companies today because he goes from upside down and inside out. He follows it to the letter. Jay Rang studied this for years now. Jay has been studying our stuff for a long time. She studied universal law. She pointed it in physics and chemistry in school, but they didn't teach what we're teaching. They didn't teach us the non-physical laws, the laws of attraction, and laws like that. She said, I learned this from here, from me. She says, I teach them with my son. When he was old enough to learn anything, I knew her son, he's 19 now, and he's doing very well. He confidently knows he is God's highest form of creation and that he has infinite potential. We talk often about living on purpose, that when you're clear about what you want and what you're willing to give, an empowered life is yours for the asking. They say when the student ready, the teacher will appear. Well, I was here and she was ready. Now look, let me review again what you're going to get. You're going to get this entire program. It's got a value of $10,000, okay? You're going to get the 6 minutes to success. Every day I send you a video, a short video with an idea, contains an idea. And I'll provoke you to think about that idea. And then I suggest you think about it all day long. You're not going to stop it from coming back to your mind. The streaming club. We stream constantly, all the time. You're going to belong to it. You're going to get some great information on it. The success puzzle, where I took Earl's definition of success and I've turned it into a lesson that you can really learn so much from because I've studied it for so long. The workbook, the digital, everything is there. It's all in print. If you hear us say it, you can go there and find it. It's so valuable. You know the beautiful part? All the laws are in this. Most people don't even know the laws. We not only explain the laws, in the second part of this, we explain how every law works. This whole universe operates by law. Nothing happens. It gets dark tonight by law, not by accident. Winter never follows winter. It's all the law. And of course, the 12 principles. You're going to love it. Now, there's the value of that, $12,300. If all this did was help you get laser focused on your goals, would it be worth it? I think so. If all it did was give you confidence to take action on the necessary steps to fulfill your dreams, would it be worth it? I think so. It would help you do 10 times your income in the next 12 months. Would it be worth it? Listen, that probably sounds like a gross exaggeration, but it happened to me and it happened so fast. And I was not very bright. I was not even a good candidate, but it happened. I've seen it happen to people on a regular, I see it happen every day. I see it happen all the time. It'll happen. Make no mistake about it. What's this worth to you? Good question. What if you could immediately start earning a growing 6-figure income while following the path to 7 figures? What if you could? How much would you pay to acquire the same skills and mindset as someone who's putting in multiple 8 figures per year? What would you pay to learn what they're learning? You can see why I've invested over 50 years of my life to learn how to truly master the secret science of getting rich. I love it, and I love sharing it. That's why I become obsessed with sharing it with as many people as possible all over the world. It's there. It's available to you. You can see why this would be a good deal at $2,500. It's for the general public. Because you're special, we got a deal. You cannot turn this down. You can get started right now for $997. Click the button below, sign up here. Now, the secret to time and money freedom that you want, that you've always wanted, is right there. Upside down, inside out. You got the whole thing. You got the whole program here. It's under $1,000. Under $1,000. Here's extra bonuses, 2 extra bonuses I'm going to give away if you take action and take action fast. Bonus one-on-one strategy sessions. No, this bonus is only for the first 50 people. First 50 people are going to get one-on-one strategy session. Second bonus, free live streaming ticket to our next event. Our next event. It is beautiful. It's 3 days. We'll stream right into your home, right onto your computer. A 3-day seminar right onto your computer. $497 value, you're going to get it. First 50 people. Okay? Now think. Let's look again at what you're getting. It's only costing $997. You're getting the full program that costs $10,000 regularly. You're getting 6 minutes every day. You're getting a video from me. Every streaming club, every broadcast, you're in it. The value on that is worth the $997. You're getting the success puzzle broken down into a program. 6 parts. It's mind-boggling. You're getting everything printed. Everything. You can go back and look at all of it, the whole transcript. And you're getting the principles, the 12 principles. You're getting all of this and the bonuses for $997. The bonuses. Think. Total value there's $13,800. Get started right now for $997. Now click the button below and listen. I'm going to tell you a story. When I first picked up this book, the man said you can have anything you want. Well, all I wanted was some money. I wanted $25,000. I never believed it. I thought, that's out of reach. I didn't even know anyone with $25,000. He told me there was good money cleaning floors. And he said, but clean them for yourself. Don't work for somebody else. Be an entrepreneur. So at any rate, he told me where I could go and buy some buckets and mops and a used floor machine. It was going to cost $1,000. I wouldn't have lent me $1,000 at the time. I didn't have $1,000. I didn't even know where I could get $1,000. But I really wanted that machine and the buckets and mops because I thought I could do that. I could earn some money at that. And I owed everybody I knew money. I was earning $4,000 a year and I owed $6,000. I owed it all over the place. And I wouldn't lend me the money because I knew I wouldn't pay it back. Not because I was dishonest or didn't want to pay them. I never had enough money to pay it. But I wanted this so bad. And he told me, he said, if you really want it bad enough, you'll find the money. Well, I went to everybody. Everybody said, no, Bob, no, I don't have $1,000, no. I found a guy, his name was Al Kuiper. He ran a trust company at Pape and Danforth. I think the trust company's gone now. But at any rate, I got in to see him. He was the manager. Now, I had a little pattern that I'd go through. I was going to banks. One book said, if the one bank doesn't do it, go to another one. And this guy said, now tell me again why you want it. And I went through the whole deal. I was going to build this company. He said, I think you'll do that. I'm going to give you the $1,000. And he gave me this $1,000. Well, do you know, that year, I was up to $15,000 a month. That averages out, if you annualize it, $175,000. In less than 5 years, I was cleaning floors in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England. I was earning over $1 million a year. I found the 1,000. If you want this bad enough, you will find the 1,000. I don't know where you'll find it, but I know you will. Come here a minute. Whenever you want anything, you find the money for it. If you really want to change your life, this is a system that will do it. I'm not guessing. This isn't a book I've read. This is a life I've lived, and I'm sharing it. I've got it all patterned out for you. Look around you. Everything you've got in this room you're in, wherever you are. You didn't get it because you needed it. You got it because you wanted it. When you really want something, if you really want this, don't ask anybody that tells you why you can't. And don't listen to anybody that hasn't done what I'm talking about. Because they'll tell you why you can't. Their paradigm is in control of them. Go to someone that is doing what I'm talking about, and they will say, go ahead. Under $1,000, your life can be changed because you buy me with it. Now, you have 2 choices. First option, do nothing and not take this leap of faith, which is 100% risk-free. Second option, make this small investment today compared to all the value you'll get in return. Just give it a shot. Now, if it works, great. If not, just ask for your money back. And we'll part as friends, okay? Sign up today, and if you don't like it for any reason, I don't care if it's 29 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes from now. Just let us know, and we'll give you your money back. Get started right now, okay? Now, the real question is it worth gambling with a few minutes of your time to check this out? which if it does even half of what we've claimed today on this webinar, it'll pay for itself many times over. And understand this, you're going to spend the time and the money anyway. It's not a matter of where you're going to spend the time or the money. You're going to spend it. A year from now, the money and the time will be all gone. You buy this, you invest in this, and I guarantee you, you're going to need a telescope to look back and see where you were. Other opportunities can take 3 to 5 years to get back your initial investment. With this information, you can be set up and rapidly getting results in the next 72 hours. Get started. Do what I'm telling you. Show me you want to do what you want to do next. Show me. Let me show you what to do next. You show me that you want to do this next, and then let me show you what to do next. Now there's the whole lineup again. The whole program, 10,000. You know, the 6 minutes, the streaming club, the success puzzle, the digital workbook, the principal, all the special bonuses, $13,868. I think it's an offer you can't refuse unless you let your paradigm control you. We only work with people who are fully committed. If you're not in that state, this of course isn't for you. If you are there and committed, I can give you everything that I have to help you. I really can. Now, as we finish out our webinar, you might find yourself sitting in the maybe category. Maybe this is for you. Maybe something is there. Maybe. You know what that is? That's the paradigm playing with your desire. That's the paradigm playing with your consciousness. Usually when we encounter these maybes, it's a sign that there's something getting in the way of you making the yes decision. If I had to guess, it comes down to the following two things, time and money. But the truth is, that's never the real answer. If it's true, time is valuable, and I'm sure that you have a lot going on, and there's a million things begging for your attention. Isn't it also true that we all have the same amount of time? There's 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. We all get the same. It's not so much the time you have, it's what you do with the time you have. That's what makes the difference. So if in your mind, make a list of the different stuff that you do every day on a daily basis. Now be honest with yourself. There's something you're doing right now that doesn't serve you. Take those off your list. We both know this will serve you. This will really serve you. Now there, I've just given you the time you need. And that's how you create the time that you want. Get rid of the stuff that doesn't work. My point is, time is what you make it. And we both know this will be time well spent when you sign up. You know that. You know it. Now look at the money. I completely understand that you got responsibilities you have to take care of. That's a given. The coaching program, this coaching program, this secret science of getting rich is an investment. It's not an expense. And I believe it would be irresponsible to pass up the opportunity to invest in yourself and your future with what I'm offering. It would be. It really would be. I think we can both agree that your best return on investment is always on yourself, and you can earn much more money than you're currently earning when you understand what we teach in this extraordinary program. My point is, you're going to spend the time and the money anyway, and we both know this will be time and money well spent. That'll absolutely deliver a return immediately for years to come. Now, if you're watching this, it's not by accident. I'm no different than you. I didn't go to school for business or finance, okay? I personally spent 50 plus years of trial and error to discover the secret to their getting rich in life, and today I'm going to give you these secrets for a small investment. You can spend countless hours of trial and error doing it the hard way, or you can use the Science of Getting Rich program where you'll learn the money is earned and enjoyed. Now this is really important. You can get started now for $997. I mean, you've got to know that this is, you know there's value here. You know that. You know I'm telling you the truth. When you hear the truth, you'll know it. This isn't something that I just dreamed up. This is something I've spent my whole adult life at and I work at it every day. Click the button below and sign up here. Okay? Go there. You'll be so glad you did. All those values. $13,886. Look at them all. Any one of them is worth the investment. Any one. I want to get you started with the Secret Science of Getting Rich program now. Get started right now, $9.97, okay? Don't pass it up. Sign up here. If you still have questions, email us at support@proctorgallagher.com with any questions you have, along with your full name and address, phone and email, and we'll answer any questions you have, okay? Get started right now. Just 4 payments of $299. Click the button below, sign up. Don't let this go. Earl Nightingale put it very well. He said, strange and marvelous things begin to happen with constant regularity when you make these ideas a part of your way of thinking, a part of your way of life. It's so good. It's so misunderstood. Let me help you. I thank God the day the man, Ray Stanford, gave me this and got me studying, and I've never stopped. That'll be starting my 58th year in October. 57 years at it, okay? I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to welcome you to the program. Now here's your bonus. I want you to go here and grab your copy of our Business Builder Checklist. It's at a $97 value. It's a checklist. Go there. And I want to welcome you to the program. You and I are going to spend time together, a lot of time. We will meet each other, and when we do, I want you to extend your hand and thank me for doing this. And I'll thank you for partaking in the program. It's so good, okay? Oh, I forgot to say, I need to make sure you know one more thing before the webinar ends. The bonuses go away after today. All the bonuses, they reward a person for making fast decisions. Do you know Napoleon Hill pointed out that successful people in any undertaking, they make decisions very fast, change them very slow, if and when they change them at all. He said the others make decisions very slow and change them fast enough. Don't do that. I don't know how you've been in the past in making decisions. I don't know, do you have to go and ask people, what do you think I should do? Probably you're asking somebody that doesn't think. Don't do that anymore. I want you to refer to the guide inside. Go to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Go to that quiet place within. You know that this is for you. Hit that button and start right now. And I want to thank you for staying with us. I love this program. You're going to love it. It'll change your life just as it's changed mine. This is Bob Proctor. Thank you.